the impossible is possible for you if you allow God to do it with you. Mark chapter 10 verse 27 says, but Jesus looked at them and said, with men it is impossible, but not with God. For with God all things are possible. That's more to say that a man's reach should always exceed his grasp. Or what is heaven for? A man's reach should always exceed his own grasp. Or what is heaven even for? And that's just more to say that we should be seeking to do what others deem to be impossible. And the reason why I say what others deem to be impossible is because what you deem to be impossible to you will be impossible for you. I feel like I just have so many commas with this. And that's just to say another thing, which is just believe that more can happen. Just believe that where you are currently isn't your end all be all, but this is just where you are now. And I think being willing to appreciate where you are now does so much for you. Because I think a lot of times people either live in reference to the future or the past. And I think the reference towards the future is kind of like living in this enigma state of what life could be. Versus the reference towards the past is just really dependent on how that past experience was. And I've said it before, but whenever you're feeling discomfort in your present situation, it's not because you're necessarily uncomfortable with the situation, but it's because the past version of yourself is uncomfortable in this new experience. Which is why I say that you must die to your old self. But that's not just something I say, that's a biblical principle. Jesus says that your old self must die. Who you used to be. Because who you used to be is like old baggage. And you're just trying to carry that and lug it around everywhere you go, even in these new places. And the problem is when you try to enter these new places with old baggage and the new stuff that you're trying to bring along with you, eventually that old baggage falls and those old things start slipping out. Those old things that you've been carrying along with you, you've been dragging along with you, that you just need to let go. Even deeper, not just let them go, but let go and let God. Because with God, all things are possible. There's not an impossibility when you have the Almighty on your side. So in full, what I'm really saying is invite God in everything that you do. But when you take it another step further, it's not just inviting him in it, but it's asking him if this is what it's asking him if this is where you should be, or is this what you should be doing in the first place? I think, yes, submission under his sovereignty is important, but I think also surrendering it too. Surrendering your want for the thing that you asking God, what do I need? And the reason why I say do this is not to kind of strip away your desires, but it's so that you actually can focus on what to desire. Aren't you tired? I mean, I was gonna say, haven't you been in a situation where you're tired of having all these options? Trying to figure out what's the right one? Like, which should I go with? But if you go even deeper, I think it's not even if you've experienced it, because I think you've already have, but it's more so, wouldn't you want to just pursue the thing that God has for you? Just pursue where God is leading you. And how do you know these things? Is where your gift is aligned into. It's what your heart has always been called to. It's typically the thing that has been so easy for you, but yet you've underestimated it, you've undermined it, you've been pursuing something else that goes completely against what you've been doing. You're trying to focus on your weaknesses instead of just strengthening your strengths. And we're always wondering like, man, I wish I could be like this person, or man, I wish I could do this. It is not even to say that it's because you care about being like that person, but you just wish that you could be free. What isn't it until you look into the mirror and realize that you've been the one holding you back. You've been the one enslaving you. You've been the one holding yourself captive this entire time. And so not only is it possible for you to free yourself from yourself, but everything else that you've been seeing, all of the visions that you've been having, all of the thoughts that you wish to be established, those are possible too. Because typically those things don't even come from you. They go to you. Isn't it possible that this entire time your biggest enemy has just been yourself? Like, isn't it possible this entire time, I've realized this for me, so maybe I want to propose the question to you. Isn't it possible that this entire time where you've thought that it's been the world, you thought it's been your circumstances, you thought it's just been your family not giving you the advantage that you've been needing or that other people have, you thought it's just because you haven't been skilled, you don't really have any talents, you can't really do nothing, maybe your family members are really talented or really skilled at something, but you're not. You think it's something that you lack, but your biggest advantage is you. Isn't it possible that your biggest enemy is your enemy? You've been looking outside of yourself the entire time when the solution has been in you the entire time. I truly believe that it's time to stop living in reference. Stop thinking about your old self. Stop thinking about what your new self can be. Focus on now. How good can now be? Live in heaven now. Experience heaven on earth now. Not when you get this or not when that happens, because who's to know when that happens? The outcome is always inconsistent. It's always inconsistent. So who's to know it? That's why you have to live in the happiness now. That's why you have to be rejoicing in every situation now. Because little do you know, you think this is the worst of it. It's always like that, right? Though, when you think about it, life in reference, you never knew that the last time was going to be the last time. And if you knew that the last time was going to be the last time, if you knew that that moment was going to be the last time you had that moment, you would have rejoiced in it, or you'd have been happier in it just a little bit longer. You would have held on to it, even though it's impossible to hold on to a moment. You would have just experienced it more. And that's what I'm telling you to do right now. Just experience where you are. Like, regardless if you like it, or if you love it, or if you despise it even. Realize that this too shall pass, good or bad. But you get to choose how many more of these good or bad moments you get to experience in this life. Based off of your decisions, based off of your beliefs, based off of how much you allow God to be in your life, based off of what you choose or don't choose for it to be possible. Because like I said before, what you decide what's impossible to you will be impossible for you. And what's possible in that regard. And I've just been in this moment where I've just started to believe that everything is possible. That as long as this is what God wants for me and I'm in alignment with Him. And how do I know that I'm in alignment with Him? Because I'm not choosing me, I'm choosing the mission. Whenever I choose the mission, whenever I choose the purpose, whenever I choose what God has deliberately put on my heart to do, because I know it's not me, because I don't even want to do it, but I know this is what He called me to do. Whenever I'm in that, I know all things. I know I'm in alignment. I know I'm in full surrender. I know I'm in full submission. I know it's not my want, but it's His will. When I'm there, that's when I know that all good things shall come to me. All good things shall come to the ones who love the Lord and who are called according to His purpose. I know good things are an attachment to being attached to the good thing. Like, good things are just produced by good actions. Can I go further in that? Good things come from the one who is good. And that's not us. See, a lot of times we think that we're going to get something good because we're good. We're not. We're not. And I'm not trying to defame your character. What I'm really saying though is the one who we call good, as in God is good, he is the definition of good. Because he is defining the things that he's created as good, as very good. He's the creator of it. It's not until we start deciding that our life is good and that we can have a good life, no matter where we've started from. The starting line doesn't matter because everybody has to start. It's just how you finish, because everybody doesn't finish. It's being willing. It's more than just being willing, it's believing that it's possible. Because you can do something and have no belief in it and get exactly what you thought would happen, the thing that you didn't believe in. Or you can do something having full belief. And for some people, they're gonna like, yeah, I had full belief that this was gonna happen and it didn't happen. That means your belief wasn't full. It means keep going. Like, oh, I posted this video and I talked to a couple people, and they're like, yes, I want to do the videos and stuff like that. Like when I see you doing those videos, man, it's inspiring. But I posted a video and it didn't do good, bro. And I'm like, I got discouraged. I was like, well, you really don't want it then. It is not to say that you want the success or whatever it is. It's just whatever you started off with saying that this is what you wanted, you really don't want if it only takes one video not doing good to stop you. But it also means that you're rooted in something that's outside of yourself. How can that happen? How can you root in something that's out of you? Every plant that we see, its roots, yes, it spreads out from it, but it also comes from it too. So if you're trying to root into something that is outside of yourself, then you're destined to fail. You're destined to even feel happiness until that thing happens. But who knows how long that is? That could be 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road. That could be 5 years down the road, 2 years down the road. Why not live and rejoice in it now? Why not believe it's possible and your faith is just defined by your works? Because I believe this will happen, I'm working like this. Because I believe that something bigger is going to come from these videos, so I show up every single day with that belief. It doesn't matter if I'm full of energy or if I'm tired and I just got to show up. I may not have 100% today. I may only have 80, but if I give all of 80, then I gave 100. Because I gave all I could. And what I'm overstating, but at the same time, I feel like it's just necessary at this point. Because I feel like around this time is where like a lot of New Year's resolutions are like, they start ending for a lot of people, right? Like I think they said about 70% of people who started New Year's resolutions, they stop around the end of January, maybe like February 1st or 2nd, they all stop, about 70%. And I just want to make sure that you're not doing this as a resolution, but you're doing this because you understand that the journey is worth taking. And it's not just because the journey is worth taking, but simply because you know that it's your journey. That you're worth being the best version of you. That you're worth pursuing everything that God has for you. You're worth it. That's why He gave it to you in the first place. It's time to stop overwhelming yourself by overthinking. I'll probably make a video on that because I think that's something that a lot of people are getting tied up with, and something that's happened. I mean, it's happening to me sometimes, for sure. And I think we can all fall victim to it at some points, right? But if you're living in it, it's realizing that you have to be willing to let go so that you can gain. And sometimes letting go is just letting go of the perfectionism, letting go what you feel like it must be before it can go out, letting go of other people's opinions and advice, and take what you can and go run with that. Like, I don't think everything that I say is going to be beneficial to everybody in every season, because we're all in different points of life, in different seasons, different ages, and experience different things. But what I do believe is you can extract what you feel like is good for you. Take it, go apply it. And once you enter a different season, new things start speaking to you. And I realized that that's like watching a movie more than once. You realize new things just because you've experienced this before. Same thing. That's life in general, right? But same thing when I'm reading the Bible, some verses, like, they speak to me so much, but in a different season, they give me a whole nother, I don't know what I was about to say the other time, but just a completely different perspective to go off of and apply that lesson to where I am now. So it's just understanding that it's possible. Like, whatever it is for you, it's possible. Like, right now I'm wearing one of the hoodies that's going to be a part of my brand that I'm making. Just got them in like the other day. This is a big win, right? Like, it's not branded out like how some of my other hoodies are, but like, once I take this and I go through more of the steps for it to happen, I'll be rocking my new stuff, right? And then eventually be able to get it out so others can step into this expression as well. It's possible if you believe it. This is 2 years in the making. I'm here sitting in front of you saying, don't give up. But also don't root yourself in something that you feel like has to happen tomorrow. Everything isn't meant for you right now. I hope one day that makes a lot of sense for whoever hears this. Everything isn't meant for you right now, but it's coming. It's coming. I'll leave y'all with this verse, right? It's in Habakkuk. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2. I'll leave y'all with this verse. Let me flip to it really quick, because I feel like it's just something that's just needed to be said. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2. It says, "Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." It says, wait for it. For it will come to you, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Every vision isn't yet for such a time as this. It isn't meant for you right now, and that's okay. Understand that. Rejoice in that. Because if it was given to you right now, you would squander it. If it was given to you right now, the same amount of confidence that you have in yourself right now is not enough to hold it. It's not enough to take it where God wants you to take it. So right now, you may not be ready for the performance, but you are in the preparation for it. Like, you are preparing. He is preparing you for it. Rejoice in being prepared so that when you start the performance, you won't go up there looking like a fool. Rejoice in the fact that he is equipping you for the calling right now. It is for an appointed time, but at the end, it will speak and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it. Have patience. A blessing too soon isn't a blessing at all, because it will surely come and it will not tarry. It says, wait for it, because it says, though it tarries, though there's some delay on it, wait for it, because it will surely come. This is your promise. The thing that you are praying for, the breakthrough that you need, the blessing that you're trying to acquire, the clothing brand that you've been praying over, the job, the business, whatever it is, the company, whatever, the test, the degree, whatever it is, wait for it, because it will surely come and it will not tarry. Once it is on the way to you, once it's there, you don't have to, I'm telling you, it may be held up right now so that you can get right. But once you're where you need to be, it's going to happen instantly for you. The thing that you've been praying for happens so fast, you don't even realize that you're in it until you're in it. Like, look at your life and look at all the things that you have prayed for. Look at all the things that you've worked for, because I believe that faith without works is dead. Look at everything that you've been working for, praying for, the things that you're already experiencing and that you're in. You probably didn't even recognize it when you got it. You're just in it now, because it happens that quick. And I'm not to say that it may take 10 years, 15 years. It just might. But that's not because it takes 10 to 15 years. It just took you 10 to 15 years to get ready. It just took you 10 to 15 years to start believing in it. It just took you 10 to 15 years to start trying to extend your reach. A man's reach should exceed his grasp. A man's reach should exceed his grasp for what is heaven for. A man's reach should, I've been saying it weird. A man's reach should exceed his grasp, or what is heaven for. The impossible is possible for you if you allow God to do it with you. I appreciate you if you made it to the end of this video. I know a lot of things been said in this video, but I just feel like it's all intentional. It's always meant to be said. So everyone who gets to the end of these videos, man, I just appreciate y'all hearing me out, sticking with me. All the comments has just been really motivational to keep going. I feel like I've always tried to pour into y'all, but y'all don't even realize how much what you say back to me like affects me. And it helps me realize that this isn't falling on deaf ears, one, but also two, helps me realize that me expressing myself and me being willing to believe that it's possible can start giving people the permission to do the same, regardless of where you start. And I know that eventually what the result of these things do, right? Because I know everything looks like but that's how it starts, right? Like nothing's, for the most part, nothing starts like boom, right? Like if I try to make this in a better way, right? Just by using a metaphor, I think it makes it simple. Like when you make your first basket, you don't get a contract to the NBA. Like that just doesn't happen, right? It doesn't happen. When you hit, you know what I'm saying? Like you hit your first home run, like you don't have some like an MLB agent just like right there, like let's get you signed up for a million. Like it doesn't happen that way. It takes time. It's a process, right? Wait for it though, for it will surely come. And when it comes, it will not lie, though it tarries. When it comes, it won't tarry. Hopefully that sticks with y'all. It may delay, but when it comes, it won't delay, right? Hopefully that sticks with y'all. I know I'm speaking here for me, because hopefully one day I watch this video back, and I'm here to tell myself that though everything doesn't always look like it's reaching all the people that you know that this is meant for, wait for it. Keep going. Keep going. because in the end, it shall surely come and it won't lie. Though it's taking some time now, wait for it, brother, because I promise you, when it happens, it happens. Maybe not today, but that's why I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.